Sophie Flay has details.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg, and the video live stream today welcomes none other than former U.S. Representative Congressman Fred Upton. Fred, it's great to see you.
It is wonderful to be with you.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We were just talking about the weather outside. You enjoying the snow?
I do. On my street, Monday is garbage day, so
yeah.
I had to be very careful walking my can down, and I've got a snowblower, and I went to the Michigan-Ohio State game, and so I came back and found all the snow.
Yeah,
but the snow was wet enough with the leaves still that it jammed up the tube, so I could not.
No.
So it's the shovel. It was the shovel this weekend.
So you went to the Michigan-Ohio game. Sorry about that.
I'm a little hoarse. Yeah.
Did you say hi to Sawyer? My son Sawyer was there.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you saw him?
I stood up. I was standing the entire game.
Did you wave to the student section?
I did.
He was standing the entire time and said from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. he and his friends were out there, and it was cold as all get out.
It was cold, and the traffic was not good coming back. I mean, I think we stopped for dinner, but it took 5 hours to get back after get trapped in the parking. But anyway, season's it's over. Next year,
next year,
the Cubs, right?
Next year. Well,
actually, the basketball. I saw a basketball game early against Cincinnati, but I'll tell you, this team looks terrific. I saw they moved up in Michigan.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. They play with a round ball still?
They do.
I know a lot about sports, Fred. Or should I say, so former U.S. representative, or should I say doctor? Soon you'll be Dr. Fred Upton.
Yeah, that's right.
Congratulations. That's pretty cool.
Very nice. I'm getting a doctorate from U of M honorary degree.
Yeah.
This month. It's in a couple weeks. And so I met the interim president, who's a really good guy, President Grasso. And so he came up to me earlier back in September. I was at a Michigan football game, and he goes, Fred, I got one other thing. You're going to get this degree. We're excited about it. And I said, everything's all set. And he said, I got one other thing to ask you. I said, well, done. I said, hey, whatever. Oh, and he said, we want you to be the commencement speaker too. I said, 8 to 10 minutes? He goes, yep, done. I said, I'm the commencement speaker. I got it written. It's going to be, 10,000 people at Chrysler. So it'll be fun. It'll be, I'm not sure I wanted, as I recall, I didn't really want to go to my graduation, but my grandfather wanted to go. So I went with him. And it was like, all right, class of 1975, stand up, LS&A, stand up, sit down. You've now graduated. I mean, that was...
Thinking back to that 1975, did you ever think to yourself, one day I'm going to come back here. Not only am I going to give a commencement speech, but they're going to give me an honorary doctorate.
No, that was not.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was.
That's cool. And a lot of great things happen in between. So if you're going to be at the commencement ceremony on December 14th at the Chrysler Center, former U.S. Representative Fred Upton will be the main speaker there.
I promise not to bore you, and it's 10 minutes.
Give us a hint. What'd you write?
No. I got it written, but I'm not tipping my hand.
All right. Okay.
Gotta wait and see. It's actually going to be online. People will be able to watch it.
So you received your bachelor's degree from UM in 1975. And that was in journalism.
Journalism, that's right. Yep.
Keep us honest.
Kept me. It's accountable.
We should probably talk about that this hour. The state of journalism.
They don't offer that as a major anymore. It's communications.
I tell you. All right. Well, we're gonna have this conversation with Fred Upton. It's coming up in just a few moments right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got to get to some local news, our weather forecast, and we'll be right back.
Of a human body.
One of the National Guard members shot and wounded in Washington, D.C. last week is showing some encouraging signs. 24-year-old Andrew Wolf giving a thumbs up when a nurse asked if he could hear. His fellow West Virginia Guardsman Sarah Beckstrom died of her injuries on Thanksgiving Day. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News now.
Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:05, it's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Special guest this hour, former U.S. Representative Fred Upton. We'll be talking with him in just a couple of moments. He says it's slick outside, so be careful. Walk like a penguin. Don't keep the pets out there too long. There is a 30% chance of snow showers early today. Then we'll see some decreasing clouds this afternoon. The high's only going to get up to about 30 degrees. Winds out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy. The low overnight's going to get down to 15.
You know, yesterday you said it was going to get down to 5 on
Friday. Yeah. Yeah, there's this big cold thing moving through, and supposedly it's only going to be here for a brief moment. That's long enough.
That's cold.
That's cold. Yeah. So
I'm wearing my Arctic coat.
Get it out of the mothballs and everything else. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy, low of 15. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, a 50% chance of snow showers, high around 30. Thursday, mostly cloudy, the low is going to be 17, the high 22. And again, as Fred mentioned, Friday's forecast, we're going to have partly sunny skies, but those clear skies to give us the sunshine are going to make it a bit cold. The low is going to be around 5 degrees on Friday, so get your pipes ready. 7:06, some of the news that we're covering from the WSJM newsroom. Human remains discovered last month in Otsego Township have been identified as a missing woman from Allegan County, a 48-year-old. Michigan State Police say troopers from the Wayland Post found the burned remains on November 13th while responding to a welfare check on Lincoln Road. Evidence was processed by the MSP Grand Rapids Lab, and Western Michigan University anthropologists assisted in excavating the scene. The woman's manner of death has not been determined. The investigation remains open. Her name is not being released, and they say anyone with information is urged to contact state police. The South Haven City Council has approved the concept design for Phase 1 of a proposed housing development at the former Overton property. The plan from Dwelling Place of Grand Rapids calls for a 3-story, 40,000-square-foot building with 53 apartments. Land acquisition analyst Matt Zuminski said to council members the concept was updated following public input, including adjustments to the roof and the building's color.
When we were doing community engagement, those were two things that people felt very strongly about, was the roofs and the colors of the buildings. And we do think that putting a flat roof there instead of a pitched roof does really enhance the building's features more, and it also isn't as tall.
Zeminski said the project will include a living roof to improve environmental sustainability. Dwelling Place plans to apply for state low-income housing tax credits, although Zeminski noted the process is extremely competitive. The Southwest Michigan Community Action Agency is accepting applications for its 10th annual holiday food sharing program, which provides food baskets to families in need. Yvonne Veit says this is the second year the agency has partnered with Whirlpool and Benton Harbor Meyer to distribute about 400 baskets.
Both Whirlpool and Meyer contribute to purchasing food and a turkey. And this year we're going to have also dairy products. So we're going to have a box of canned items, probably 2 or 3 different meats, and then the turkey.
Distribution will take place drive-through style on December 19th. Veit says families in Benton Harbor, Benton Township, and St. Joseph are eligible, and demand throughout the area remains high.
It's quite overwhelming sometimes. And you can tell there's need because we're probably going to start about 2 o'clock, and they're probably going to be lining up, and this is no exaggeration, 7 in the morning.
Applications are being accepted at the agency office through December 14th. Whirlpool and Meyer will also provide volunteers to help deliver the baskets to the family's vehicles. That's a look at some of the local news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom. We have more to talk about, and we'll talk about it with a special guest this hour, none other than former U.S. Representative Fred Upton is in the studio. Hi, Fred.
Always good to be with you. It really is.
Thank you so much. We'll get to sports in just a moment, but I just wanted to check in with Fred. How are you doing? What's been going on? What have you been up to?
Well, it's hard to retire after 36 years. I'm still getting my news feeds. Already heard from the New York Times and different headlines.
Oh, what are they asking about?
Well, it's the whole slew of things that they know I look at.
All right. Okay. All right.
Everything under the sun.
Yeah.
But I'm on a bunch of boards. I'm a Michigan resident. I'm here. I just had a new grandson born. So
congratulations.
I've got 5 grandkids now. So he's starting to smile. He's over 10 pounds. So he's sleeping six hours a night. But he's about a month and a half old now.
That's great.
And so I've got 2 grandkids in Boston, and I've got 3 in Alexandria, Virginia, right by DCA National Airport.
Oh, yeah.
So Amy and I are back and forth. We're here all summer. I'm doing some traveling. I'm on a bunch of boards. I thought I'd mention this. I'm in euchre's a great game, right?
Yeah.
Card game.
Yeah.
It's really a Midwest game. Nobody knows how to play it outside of the Midwest. What?
Euchre.
How do you spell it?
Yeah, exactly. Bob Euchre.
That's what they say. Bob Euchre. That's exactly what they say. But there's a little dinner group here in town, and they meet. Used to go from one house to another. Now we go to one place, and I've won a couple of times. So that's it's fun. But they've branched out, and now they do a bike trip every now and then, once a year. So
euchre wasn't enough for them. They said we need to ride our bikes.
Now we go on bike trips.
That's smart.
And we play euchre and we drink wine, and it is a lot of fun.
And
we're all retired. I think we're all retired, and we should be. But it's a lot of fun. So we went to Portugal last spring.
Nice.
Got a trip planned to Spain in May. So it's a good group of people, but it's better than playing shuffleboard, right?
You keep them busy.
Pickleball. I mean, it's good. It's a great group.
Yeah, we hear you on the Big Show with Michael Patrick Shields. We see you on the TV news networks a lot, so you stay very in tune with what's happening in Washington D.C.
NPR and CNN. I did a tribute up at Western Michigan University yesterday. I was up in Kalamazoo, so. There's just a lot of people knocking on the door, and I'm on the Argonne National Lab Board, 5,000 some employees over in Chicago. So we meet every couple of months. I'm on a biodefense pandemic board, and we're headed by Tom Ridge, former governor of Pennsylvania and the first Homeland Security cabinet officer, as well as Donna Shalala. They're co-chairs. We're going to have a hearing here in Michigan in Ann Arbor, hopefully in April.
Oh, what are you going to talk about?
Well, we're going to talk about vaccines.
And
an issue that came up just in the last couple of weeks. Canada has been measles free for 30 some years. They're going through the same thing, anti-vax, the issue. They've had 5,000 cases of measles. So we're going to have Canada, I think, come testify at the hearing as well. So, but I'm on, a bunch of different things. I'm a former member, or I'm on the board of the former members of Congress. And so one of the things that we do that I did, and actually my former staff did this, is, John Prose and Al Pashoka, who ran my office, later, of course, were elected.
Good people. Yeah.
Tanya Shoemaker was she was an intern a lot of years ago. We did a school every week until COVID. And so former members, we do schools all the time. They pair you up with with a Democrat. So it's bipartisan.
Right.
But I've done Michigan, Cornell, UConn, Naval Academy. Actually got to see some of my nominees that are doing quite well. Suffolk, McAllister, and they've sent me to Germany twice. In fact, you and I talked. I was in Germany doing a whole week of lecturing there. So it's public service. It's, U.S. system. It's non-political, but it's like, we need this next generation to step up.
Giving people kind of more than behind the headlines of what they're seeing of what is our government,
it's
how are we
meetings, it's discussion on all the issues and where people are, and it's really been fascinating. So we're actually going to have they have an event this month. They've asked me to speak, so we're going to actually be on the House floor. They have like an annual event, sort of our charter that's done, and so they've asked me to do a 1 minute, which will be longer than 1 minute. On the House floor. I'll let you know when it is. Actually, it's the 15th, I think.
We'd love to see
Monday
it.
the 15th.
Okay.
So, I'm going to talk a little bit about FMC and what we do. And, just the dysfunction that we see now in DC, and it's just very frustrating.
Yeah, it's something else. So we'll talk about that. We'll begin that conversation right now on the video live stream. We're talking with former U.S. Representative Fred Upton. He's no stranger to the station. He's been here a number of times, and we appreciate him and everything he brings to Southwest Michigan, even after he's retired from Congress. So thank you. We appreciate that. We'll be back in just a moment right here on the video live stream. Here on the radio, we've got sports and a couple of important messages, and then our latest weather forecast.
Sports.
All right, back on the video live stream. That's a lot. You're so involved in a lot of stuff.
There's a lot going on.
Man.
There's a lot going on.
So vaccines, you touched on measles, and it occurred to me, you said Canada's going through the same thing we are with the anti-vax stuff. What triggered that? Was that all pandemic related?
I think it might have been. And, this administration, Amy, you look at some states, what they're doing now in terms of But for me, I'm a grandparent now. I'm thinking about the oldest of my grandkids is 5.
Yeah.
And, little Tommy just started kindergarten. And, you worry about this whooping cough. I mean, I think you
Sure.
guys talked about it yesterday.
Pertussis,
with,
yeah,
Weibo.
coming back, yeah.
And, different coughs. I mean, we ought to be the leader on this. And they're safe and effective. They're, I know the FDA, I mean, we lost 1 million people because of COVID. And people were so excited when we got that vaccine finally. And that came about months ahead, probably 6 or 8 months ahead of what otherwise would have been had we not enacted 21st Century Cures, the legislation that I helped author with my colleague, Diana DeGette from Colorado. But it was the last bill that President Obama signed into law. 5 years later, bingo, here we have this crisis. And as it turns out, they manufacture and produce it right here in our neck of the woods at Pfizer in Portage. So, but Moderna, J&J, Pfizer, I mean, they all stepped up, and we saved hundreds of thousands of lives by getting that vaccine coming out in December rather than waiting until what it would have been late spring.
Yeah. So I mean, what broke? What happened? We've now have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in there with the noted vaccine critic, and putting a lot of people in place who haven't been big fans of vaccines.
In fact, they just named the number 2 person, I think, at the CDC who's been a big anti-vaxxer. They had a big conference, anti-vaxxers, in Texas a couple weeks ago, and Kennedy's RFK's wife was there. They had a couple of members of Congress there. I mean, it's just like, folks, we don't want to go through this again. All right. We need the science. Obviously they need to be safe and effective, but let's make sure that it works and it's available to everybody.
And I guess what I'm wondering is where did the disconnect happen? Because obviously I want to be the biggest cynic when you think about medical treatment, right? You want to think, okay, has this been tested? Has this been proven? There was a thought, an assumption that there was a guarantee of, okay, if I'm going to get prescribed this by my doctor or the health officials, that this is safe. And then all of a sudden there was a disconnect where no longer were we trusting the science. We were just thinking, I don't like the sound of that. This is causing autism. This is doing this. This is causing diabetes. Where did the disconnect happen? What are you finding?
It's much of it is just unfounded. It's not founded by science, that's for sure. But, take COVID. So I'm 72. It's still hard to say that. one of my relatives yesterday said, "Fred, you still have hair. What are you doing this different?" I'm like, but it now lost my. It's
the disconnect.
Yeah, it's just it's unfortunate when these things happen, and it puts real people at risk. So I went to get my COVID, my booster, after 6 months, I guess, or every year you get that new shot. And I happened to be in Virginia. And so I went and they said, well, in Virginia, you need a doctor's prescription to get it. I said, well, I thought it was available to anyone that's over 65.
Right.
I said, no, you need a doctor's prescription. Think how many people could not get that.
Yeah.
In Michigan. So I came here, as I was here the next week. And so I went to CVS on Miles Avenue and
set me up.
Yep. I've already had the flu shot, but put it in the same arm. Let's go. And no questions. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're still involved in that and bringing more information to people. We'll continue this conversation in just a moment. We're talking with Fred Upton, former U.S. representative for our area.
Showers this morning will taper off as we head into the afternoon. Eventually, will become partly cloudy with high temperatures right around 30. Mostly cloudy tonight. We'll drop down to 15 for the low. And tomorrow, we're back to clouds and chances of snow. We'll see about an inch of accumulation with highs near 30. We're back to temperatures in the low 20s Thursday and Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
7:19 on Tuesday, December 2nd. Our special guest this hour, U.S. Representative Fred Upton, former U.S. Representative Fred Upton. We'll still call you our congressman. It's good to see you.
Always Fred.
Fred, it's good to see you. Thanks again for coming in. We were talking on the video live stream about vaccines because you're involved in sharing information about that with folks. And where is that event? That's in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, we're looking. We want Whitmer to be it's going to be a bipartisan hearing. So we
Yeah.
do a field hearing every year someplace. So 2 years ago we did it down in Indy, and it was on the threat of terrorists maybe at using drones or something like that. It's the largest sporting event, the Indy 500.
Yeah.
So this is going to be on vaccines, and we're going to do it, I think, at the Ford School, right in downtown Ann Arbor. But our commissioners include the board of directors, include the former head of the FDA, a couple of colleagues, Republican and Democrat, and we'll have some. It'll be open to the press and open to the public, and it'll be a whole day hearing. I think we're going to try to go kick the tires and look at some of the developments of the Michigan Med School and what they're doing in terms of science and going to developing products. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
You talked about drones and the hearing you had last year down in Indy on that. I was reading fascinating news articles over the weekend about what they're doing in Israel to supplement the Iron Dome.
Yeah.
With just basically, it sounded basically like they were shooting Star Wars type lasers that heated up a piece of a missile that was incoming or a drone or something like that, and exploded it right out of the air. Did it for 50 cents of electricity versus what the Iron Dome missiles cost, which is probably a few $1 million or something like that.
It is. I've been to Israel. I've seen, I've been to see some of the stuff that they're doing. But you got to do that to protect yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And you infuse that technology, the ability to bring lasers into that kind of fashion. Within 10 kilometers, I think they can grab stuff and do it in a cost-effective manner. You meld that with AI. It's just mind blowing what technologies.
Yeah, I know some people that are working on that here in the U.S. and it's incredible.
What's their stock ticker?
It's privately held. I've asked the same question, but it's not. There's no public offerings at this point.
Yeah, it's 7:22. It's December 2nd. We're talking with former U.S. Representative Fred Upton. One of the things that is really in the news right now, you've probably been seeing quite a bit about this, is what's going on with Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and the Caribbean narco strikes that have happened. And most recently, they've been talking about, okay, who ordered the double tap? Who ordered the killing of those who survived one of the strikes on a narco boat down in the Caribbean? And was it a war crime? I guess we should probably lay the field here. People are familiar, I think, with the story itself, but when the media puts out war crime, what is a war crime, and who war crime to whom?
Yeah, well, a couple of things you got to think about. They're going to get the answers. So I know the people that are involved. It looks like there's going to be a bipartisan investigation, probably in the House as well, but certainly the Senate has already announced that they're going to do this. Roger Wicker is the Republican chair of the Armed Services Committee. Very good friend of mine. I mean, we've done a lot of things together over the years. Roger's terrific. He called for hearings right away. It reminds me of, the sage advice that my dad offered a lot of years ago to all of us. Tell the truth the first time, and you don't have to worry about the second. They're going to find the answers to this, all right? There have been conflicting reports really since September. I think it was September 2nd.
Yes.
It was early that first week of September. The videos, all of it's going to be out there. It's going to be made public. They're gonna find the answers to this. So, and they're going to look at what people have said. I mean, particularly now that the White House is involved and sort of pointing fingers at different people. So, let's let the facts. Let's not make a decision or a conclusion before we know all the facts. It's going to come out. So, but it's. This whole issue, and I was listening earlier to, Congress ought to be involved. I think we have 14 ships. I mean, Amy and I were there when we dedicated the USS Ford in Norfolk, a number of years ago. It's an incredible ship. I mean, we got to kick the tires and walk around it, and it's fully in service. It's the largest ship in the world, I think. It's there, and they got the whole flotilla. They got 15,000 troops. Congress needs to be involved. I mean, I can remember telling Bush 41, I mean, back in the 90s, about Iraq. Don't do this without getting Congress on board. You need to share with us the evidence that you have. And you didn't like doing it. You'd like to being the chief executive, but he did the right thing. Congress was involved. It was a tough vote. We had a lot of classified briefings, et cetera. And we moved on. Congress has been clamoring for the same thing now. And I believe that needs to happen. I mean, Venezuela, they got, I think, missiles from Russia. They got, this is not a, Haiti or some little country that doesn't have an armed forces. This will, we'll lose lives there if this thing happens. So, we'll see what breaks in the next number of days, I guess, in terms of what happens. But at the end of the day, I mean, our founding fathers set it up so we have, checks and balances. And it's, no president is like the War Powers Act. I think Nixon vetoed it when it first passed back in the 70s. He was overridden. And, it needs to be part of the process. In this
specific case, the one in early September, when you had 2 missile strikes on that suspected narco.
The second strike? They saw, and they got the video. They show they've got the video showing the 2 survivors that are hanging onto the boat. So someone ordered that second strike, and they're going to find out the answer.
Just to lay the groundwork again for people who may not be familiar with either Geneva Convention, international law. Why is that second strike a potential war crime?
Well, it's because there are some rules of engagement that are out there. This violates one of those rules and eligible for the death. Actually, it was pointed out yesterday. I saw in the news some Nazi, submarines folks back in the World War II, after they sunk a ship, went after the folks. They were all later convicted of war crime, and they were executed by the British.
Yeah. So I mean,
this is a serious matter, and when you look at what's going on today in Ukraine and everything else, I mean, particularly the U.S. was maintained in pretty high standard. We got to follow the law. That's who we are.
Yeah. Again, I'm kind of the biggest cynic when it comes to what they're saying in Washington. But when you hear the Secretary of Defense through a social media post say, that admiral who ordered this has my full support.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a distancing. That seems like a problem.
Well, they're going to find the answer. So tell the truth the first time, and you don't have to worry about it the second.
Yeah, we're talking with former U.S. Representative Fred Upton. Why are we focused on Venezuela? A year ago today, if somebody had said, where's the next hotspot? Is it going to be in North America, South America, Europe, Asia, somewhere like that? You would have never pointed to Venezuela, I wouldn't think.
Well, the president doesn't like Maduro.
Yeah, clearly.
And, I was in, he doesn't like Nigeria either. I mean, remember a couple weeks ago, he was talking about going into Nigeria.
Yeah.
And then at the same weekend, this weekend, he gives a full pardon to the former president of Honduras, who was convicted, sentenced to 45 years in federal prison, took $1 million bribe from El Chapo. I mean, if there's one person that that's a narco terrorist, it's El Chapo. Okay, it's
no brainer.
He took $1 million from El Chapo, sent I don't know how many tons of cocaine to the U.S., took kickbacks from the drug lords, was convicted, but because it was when Biden was president, he gets a full pardon. And in the meantime, it's just like, connect the dots here. I don't understand it. I don't.
Yeah, and it seems like that potential hypocrisy, which seems like blatant hypocrisy to me, it seems like that hypocrisy is just going unnoticed.
Yeah, well, there's just so much of it. Every day. Yeah. That was on Saturday. On Sunday, he pardoned someone who was convicted of $1 billion in crypto, taking people's money. Yeah. He served 7 days in jail of his multi-year sentence, and he gets a pardon too. It's like, all
right. We've got more to cover. I want to ask you about the 6 Democrats and their video. So we'll talk about that in just a moment with former U.S. Representative Fred Upton. We'll do that on the video live stream. We have here on the radio some important messages. You want to join the video live stream, come over to YouTube or Facebook and type in WSJM. You can find us there, or download and watch us on the WSJM Smart app. I hope you have the smart app, Fred. It's super smart.
I watch everything
okay.
that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, we'll be right back. It's WSJM. How much do I owe you for that endorsement? That's no. WSJM video live stream continues. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Looking at the video live stream. Let's see who said good morning. Let's see. We've got Teresa out there who says congratulations. I assume on your doctorate. You going to start practicing medicine now?
I'm not going to say bend over.
All right. Thank you.
I promise.
Cough, please. Mike Weibel says good morning as well. He's watching. And let's see. James Bingham is out there. Ask Fred about the Secretary of State banning Boy Scouts from all military bases. What do you think about that? I don't know much about that.
I saw the headline a week or so ago. It's ridiculous, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, hey, I was a Boy Scout.
Yeah. Me too.
And the lessons that you learn, of course, now it's scouting. It's not separated like it was before. But it's just like, why? Well, I mean, support our military. Let young boys and girls, see what sacrifice is, what serving our country. I mean, when I was at youth, we had a draft. I was a 1A. I remember when I turned 18. I went to St. Joe schools through 9th grade, and then I went to a military school because it was Vietnam. And I can remember my principal when I turned 18 taking me down and registering for the draft. And, got a lottery number in college, and I was, they ended the student deferment, and I was 1A, but they didn't,
What's the lottery you didn't want to win?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The issue of the Venezuela conflict, as it seems to be developing, the narco-terrorist attacks that are happening in the Caribbean, and the video from the 6 Democrats, including our junior U.S. Senator Alyssa Slotkin, I don't believe in a lot of coincidence, Fred.
Well, you wonder if they didn't know something. For Slotkin, of course, I served with her. She was former CIA, and Kelly. I served with his wife who was shot.
Mm-hmm.
What's really tragic here is the death threats that they've had. Slotkin, I think, now has 24/7 security.
Yeah.
Her home, her offices. When we had some issues, I lost some staff people, one staff person, because she couldn't. I mean, just the calls that came in. I mean, remember, I was a former staffer, so I answered the phone, Congressman Stockman's office. How can I help you? And I did it every now and then. And Congressman Upton's office. I wouldn't say who I was necessarily, but I would answer the phone early in the morning. My staff did as well. And you got some bad people out there that not all not necessarily from your district, but someplace else.
Yeah.
But those threats are real, and of course we saw it. Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
We saw it firsthand with the Speaker of the House in Minnesota, the State House.
Yeah, absolutely. The trash shooting. You can take a walk.
For Kelly, the senator from Arizona, his wife was shot in the head.
Yeah.
She was a colleague of mine. Thank goodness she's recovered to a degree, but she's not
never be the
100%.
same. Yeah.
But those things are just devastating, let alone to the staff. I mean, you got, we lost Jackie Walorski's staff in a tragic car accident a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But that's what really worries me. But, back to your question, you almost think that they knew something about September, that second strike.
Yeah.
When they gave a warning, don't violate your oath to the Constitution or the rule of law. So I think it's pretty unusual that, they're demanding maybe a court martial, recalling them back to active duty. This is Senator Kelly, court martial. And, I mean, come on. I mean, it's called free speech.
Yeah. Yeah. The timing of it, now that we know what we know about that second strike in the Caribbean narco boat, it seems, as you mentioned, that they probably knew something about that, and that's probably why they sent their message. And I do remember that moment when Alyssa Slotkin was asked on the news media, what illegal order are you talking about? And she said, well, I don't know, something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, but it seems like there was a stop there of, well, I'm not ready to reveal that.
Yeah, it was sort of, to use a little, a shot across the bow.
Yeah.
That's really how I viewed it. But I think it's, they're not going to succeed in taking down a sitting senator, what he said.
Yeah. But to the video, and many have criticized it and questioned it as to the timing of it. Would you have participated in that kind of video?
Well, I wouldn't have, because they were all former military. I mean, they get
CIA,
or CIA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I'm not. I would not have ever claimed to be a veteran. I support our veterans, but
right?
No, I wouldn't have. It would not have fit in with the purpose of their background of what they did.
Okay, back with more in just a moment at 7:35 WSJM Morning Show. We're visiting with Fred Upton.
Sweetgreen and Cava, once stars of the restaurant industry, are now struggling as diners tire of all those pick-your-own ingredients. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show, 7:35, Tuesday, December 2nd. I'm Ken Lundberg, visiting here with former U.S. Representative Fred Upton, and we're continuing our conversation on the video live stream in just a moment. First off, weather-wise, we're looking at about 23 degrees and cloudy skies in Benton Harbor right now, 26 in St. Joseph, and 24 degrees in South Haven. Dowagiac is still at 18 degrees. The forecast for today, we have a 30% chance of snow showers early and then decreasing clouds as we move into the afternoon. A high of around 30 degrees, light winds out of the west. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy, a low of 15. We have more news coming up, the latest right now from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Major development in the case of the boats in the Caribbean that the White House says is justified in shooting down because they have been carrying drugs. The accusation that the Pentagon ordered a second strike on a boat, even though there were survivors clinging to its side. ABC Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz.
This has taken on a new and serious twist, with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth pointing the finger at his commander for a second strike on a suspected drug boat, even though the secretary said he had watched the attack on a live feed.
That commander, the defense secretary, blames for the strike, will be answering questions on Capitol Hill on Thursday. A Kremlin spokesman says the meeting between Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Vladimir Putin will begin at 5 p.m. Moscow time. That is 9 a.m. on the East Coast. A blast of wintry weather hitting parts of Pennsylvania, further up into the Northeast. 75 million people under weather advisories today. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's 7:37, just after 8 o'clock, our local news from the WSJM Newsroom. We'll talk about these stories. Benton Harbor City Commissioners have approved an agreement allowing Peninsula Fiber Network to use city property as they build a high-speed internet line that's going under Lake Michigan. We'll tell you how the city will benefit from that. Also, two Berrien County libraries are moving toward a merger aimed at improving services and sharing resources. We'll tell you more there. And the Berrien County Health Department is reminding residents about available HIV testing and prevention support. Yesterday was World AIDS Day, and county officials pointed out that Berrien County ranks among Michigan's top 10 for HIV infections.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, raising the awareness of who should get tested, where you get your tests frequently, and what to do if you get a positive test for that. Medical technology has changed. People have been living, with that for many, many years. Magic Johnson, for instance.
Yeah, magic.
Yeah. So, all right. Those stories and more coming up just after 8 o'clock right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We're going to continue on the video live stream. We're talking with former U.S. Representative Fred Upton. Fred will be back in just a moment. I'm going to ask him about Atlas 3i. Tune in for that. It's coming up next.
The Michigan.
Here on the video live stream. So you talked to Weibel the other day. You talked to him yesterday. Did he share with you our movie script idea, our movie treatment? We're looking for an executive producer here, and so Atlas 3i. This 3i Atlas, the interstellar comet that's coming through.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So our thought is, let's do a movie treatment, because people think it's alien technology. A movie treatment that it's not actually aliens; it's Santa Claus. Because of global warming and corporate interests and everything else, he had to move out.
Santa's coming to the regional airport, I know, on Saturday at 1 o'clock.
So that's a yay? You're going to green light?
Yeah, I think, yeah. You'll get some viewers. I went to this. I'm a Springsteen guy, okay?
Oh, yeah, the boss, yeah.
when I have driven to and from DC. I mean, remember, I'm in the House 36 years. I'm a staffer before that. I know that route like the back of my hand. I mean, even if I did it a couple times a year, and I always did, I've done it hundreds of times.
Oh man,
all right,
that's a drive.
And Easy Pass was, a great invention because you don't have to wait in line anymore in Ohio. You don't have the sticks. Still come up in Indiana, but at least it's only 70 some miles, whatever. Yeah. But having to listen to Springsteen the entire way, and I can remember listening to the March 28th, 1988 Detroit medley over and over and over. I mean, it's a 15-minute deal, but I went to this Springsteen movie a couple weeks ago. I went with my wife and we went to matinee, and there are like 4 people in the theater.
Oh no.
And it was so loud. You had to listen to like 40 minutes of, the Anaconda's coming and all these other new movies that are coming. And but man, it was a good movie. But yeah, you get people to go see it.
So what you're saying is we can get people to go see anything.
You need to go to Hollywood and talk to someone and get a script, and off you go.
Our idea is to make it a cult classic, so we just keep, we can live off the royalties forever.
Yeah.
How was the new Springsteen movie? Was it good?
It was good.
The actor did all right.
It talked about the depression that he experienced. He's such. I saw him at Wrigley Field. I went with Shalito, my next door neighbor here.
Yeah.
We went to Wrigley 2 summers ago, and it was just, we had the best time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, if you think I'm hoarse now, I know all the songs. I mean, I've seen him a bunch of times. It's an incredible performance that he does.
Yeah, that's fun. So, going back to some of the things that are happening in Washington, D.C., we just got through, I think the last time we talked, they were just about to hopefully get an agreement, or maybe they had just gotten an agreement, I can't remember, on the government shutdown. 43 days.
That's when we talked, it played out just like I thought. It was going to take a long time. It was going to bump into Thanksgiving travel. And, I know some air traffic controllers, and it was a terrible time for them. I mean, it was, and, at the end of the day, what happened? Nothing. It was just real disruption in a lot of people's lives. Very unfortunate. And sadly, next month, I mean, now that it's December, the next CR, continuing resolution, expires next month.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that they're going to have a deal. I mean, they're in now for 3 weeks, and then they're out for 2 weeks over Christmas, and then they got to come back. But I sure don't see any settlement coming. So this may be happening again in the bills that they don't get finished.
Whose strategy was in play for a 43-day government shutdown?
Well, part of it was they didn't want to, the House, Speaker Johnson did not want to vote on the Epstein issue.
And that was it.
That was a big issue. I mean, they got out a week earlier in the summer because the votes were there for Epstein. And as it turns out, I mean, even the president said, okay, it's okay. And it was all but one member voted for it.
All but one member in the House, and there was unanimous consent
in the Senate.
In the Senate.
And, I'm for full disclosure. I mean, get these bastards, identify these bastards, all of them, and get them out there. And I think we'll see. The Justice Department has 30 days, so the clock's ticking.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what they do, but this is, maybe Larry Summers is involved in this. Who knows? But all of them need to be identified.
Yeah.
It needs to be fully transparent. And you knew that they couldn't hold this back. They tried, but that was part of it. So the House, I mean, they weren't in session. How do you talk through a bill without talking to both sides if you're not even there?
Yeah.
Nutty.
Yeah, it seems so. So we were facing a January 30th deadline for the government to get their appropriations house in order. If they pass another,
it'll be another CR. Here's my prediction.
Yeah.
They might do a couple of minor bills, and they did pass the legislative branch, so that means the congressional staff.
That's right. 3 bills. They did what? They did agriculture.
So that'll help on SNAP payments.
Yep.
So that won't be in jeopardy
Okay.
next time. And they did a defense bill too, the military construction. So they did those 3 bills. Those are the easiest of the 3.
Yeah, those were no brainers in the old day.
The ledge branch is the smallest one. I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's Capitol Hill Police. I mean, that's actually pretty small. But the others are going to, labor, HHS, they're not going to be able to get those done.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is, at the end of the day, maybe after a shutdown, there'll be another continuing resolution, and it'll go through September, so they don't have to go through it again a month or 2 down the road. And then, of course, they're going to be looking at the fiscal year 27 budget.
Oh, my goodness.
And so it'll probably be another CR. There's 12 different appropriation bills. When I first went to Congress, these bills would be up for a whole week, one bill at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, you were there. Then.
Yeah.
You were up on Capitol Hill. You know this. If you had it, so I was never on appropriations. But if you had a germane amendment to the ag bill or the foreign aid bill, whatever it was, you could offer it.
Yeah.
Republican. Now, if you added money, you had to have an offset within that same bill. But we would take it up for a whole week, and we got them done. Now it's a CR every time, which is ridiculous because in essence, they're operating off the Biden budget. That's how long we've had the CRs since Biden was in office, even 2 years, the last 2 years of the Biden administration.
We will come right back. We're talking with Fred Upton. It's the WSJM Morning Show, Tuesday, December 2nd.
Carrie Pujol.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's a head-shaking Tuesday morning.
Wake you up. You don't need the coffee.
We don't need the coffee. No, we're talking with former U.S. Representative Fred Upton, and let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update for this morning, this hour. Moody on the Market update brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. We're talking with soon-to-be Dr. Fred Upton, Doctor of Laws. What is a Doctor of Laws?
It's an honorary. I will not.
You get a lab coat with that?
This was, my attorney friends didn't like this, but I said, I'm not a lawyer. I do a town meeting. I'm not a lawyer. Most people would say, good for you, except it didn't go over very well with the American Bar Association.
I bet not.
They didn't like it. But no, I'm not going to be practicing. I'm not going to be defending anyone in court. I'm not going to be suing anybody.
What we're talking about is former U.S. Representative Fred Upton was chosen to be the main speaker at the University of Michigan's 2025 winter commencement. And the university also announced that Fred will receive an honorary Doctor of Laws degree for his decades of service in the federal government. So thank you.
Very nice. I've seen what they're going to say, and I will say that they asked me to do it last spring, but I was on my Euchre bike trip. I had already paid for my tickets to go to Portugal, and I said, no, I'm not going to come back early.
The change fee on that would be too much.
Well, plus I think I was going to miss the last 2 days of cycling. So I thought,
are you good euchre
might
player?
have saved me a sore butt, but yeah, I'm not a bad euchre. I don't want to,
Okay.
I've won my fair share of games. It's a good fast card game. It really is.
Well, congratulations on the recognition. Again, that ceremony is coming up on December 14th at the Chrysler Center. And we're going to have to wait and see because Fred's going to keep us in suspense as to what he's going to be telling the young people. You going to be telling about AI at all?
I'm not going to say.
All right. That's our Moody. We're going to talk about AI here in just a moment on the video live stream, but that's our Moody on the Market update this hour. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles.
Rich Brandon, Terry.
Talking about, if we can, you use AI?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it is incredible. When you, I can remember a few years ago, and we wanted to write a poem on skiing, and we just did it on bingo off it.
That's not the White House, is it?
No, it's.
Okay.
I don't know who it is.
Oh, all right.
Herndon, Virginia.
Oh,
I got a feeling I know who it is. I'll call him back. But
okay.
Anyway,
all right.
It's not a spam call, I don't think.
No, Herndon is usually pretty important.
I don't know. I don't know who it is. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. But I don't really use it. I don't really need to use it. I mean, I'm not, I'm I write my own speeches. I don't
Do
have
you
a
write your
staff
own
anymore.
speeches?
Yeah, I've written my commencement speech. I've written it down. Actually, I'm not going to say, but I think I've got a good message for the students, and it was exciting to be asked. And I've done commencement speeches, high schools, and I did Western a few years ago. So I did have to look up to see who my commencement speaker was at Michigan. He was Governor Milliken.
Oh,
I forgot. I had forgotten.
A very memorable speech there.
I had to look it up. But
the reason I ask about the AI in terms of the commencement is, so I've got 3 boys. 2 of them are in college. One of them's getting ready to wrap up college, and he's got his mind on a career track. And the second boy who's in college right now, he has an idea, but I mean, the landscape, he's only a sophomore. The landscape is going to change so much because of how fast technology is going.
It is really going to change. And you think about advances that we've had before. I mean, it used to be when people wanted to contact, it used to be campaigning, members of Congress would just go to the courthouse. If you at the courthouse, the county clerk and, sheriff and others, you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was yard signs. I can remember the first, Dave Stockman was the first one to have yard signs. And we felt sorry for the realtors. How are you going to sell houses? Now everybody's got a yard sign.
Yeah.
I mean, and people, take them and everything. I mean, but you look at the advent of the internet and how people can communicate. People aren't going to, write checks anymore. Again, who doesn't do banking online? Just about. You look at communication skills that people have. I can remember in St. Joe taking typing lessons in the summer with not even an electric typewriter. You had to,
the old
move the ring, the bar, and you get 60 minutes or 60 words per minute to get up there. Now your kids,
thumbs, just their thumbs.
It's just one finger is Actually, I like the BlackBerry better than the phones because you could feel the keys. I make more typos on this, but at least it corrects it. Bingo. You don't even have to know spelling anymore. You just guess it, and there it is. Bingo.
Yeah, it might get the right word. Well, we're going to come back and conclude this conversation. We're talking with former U.S. Representative Fred Upton. We'll keep talking about AI if you want to, or anything else you want to talk about. Talk about the holidays. Talk about cats, dogs, anything. Yeah. All right. Back in a moment at WSJM.
This is WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:52 on Tuesday, December 2nd. Our special guest this hour. It's been a real treat talking with former U.S. Representative Fred Upton. He's heard here on the station many times. Michael Patrick Shields reaches out.
Michael Patrick is a good guy.
Isn't he great?
Yeah, he really is. He's been to town a bunch of times. And, he loves golf. Now, I'm still in witness protection in golf. I did do better at the end here. I shot a 50 on 9 holes. That was
okay.
That was my record.
They won't kick you off for that, I don't think.
Yeah, they sort of will. I've only done it for 2 years. It was like, why didn't you? I thought everybody played golf. They said, really, when you raising kids and you're in one place or the other, Michigan and DC, and you got a wife who's one place or the other, usually the other place, and all of a sudden you tell your spouse, I'm going to go play golf with the boys for 4 hours a couple of times a week. It was like, really? I don't think that's going to fly very well. So Amy and I took up golf together. I got to say,
okay,
I'll give Ross Smith a little plug here.
Yeah.
Ross was a huge help for me.
Really?
But yeah.
What, he convinced Amy to play with you?
No, well, he helped me. He changed my grip.
Okay.
Everyone says he's going to change your grip. Well, he changed my grip for the better. Let me say that.
All right.
But I am, a better golfer at the end of the season than I was at the beginning. So I'm ready to take off next year and hopefully get out of witness protection. And I got special sunglasses and a hat. No one is supposed to recognize me when I go to the links, but it's a fun game. It really is. I'm driven to do better. So
It is a lot of fun and it's relaxing. And again, most of all, it's a game against yourself.
Yeah, that's the bad part.
If you think of it. And I have to tell you, I mean, in Washington, D.C., so I played out there a bit because when you're a journalist in Washington, D.C., August rolls around, and it used to be that all the lawmakers, and I still think it's kind of mostly that way, in August, all the lawmakers leave.
Yeah.
And so you're stuck with very little news coverage. So what do? You go out to Haynes Point, which is basically a cow pasture, but they had a double-deck driving range. I got some of my best news stories off of Haynes Point, out of playing golf there. One of them was I ended up golfing. I got paired up randomly because I just went out there by myself. Got paired up with Ken Starr.
Oh, wow.
And I said, he asked me, what do you do for a living? And I said, well, I'm a journalist. I said, what do you do? And he said, well, I'm not going to tell you everything, but in a couple of weeks, you're going to know. And I'm like, okay.
My name. That's right.
So that was interesting. And then the second news story I got when I was out there was I got to go up on the second deck, and I took my clubs for the flyby of the space shuttle. Remember when they had it piggyback on the So sat up there and got some amazing pictures that I still have today.
Yeah, well, Washington, when I went as a staffer for Stockman, I had never been to Washington, I had never been there before. And it was then the hottest summer they ever had. I lived with a guy, Jack Strayer, who was a good friend and passed away sadly a few years ago, but he was from Niles. So Jack and I lived there. I didn't have a car because I'd been in a car accident, totaled my car. So I didn't have a car for a couple years, but we lived up in Northwest, up by the zoo.
Yeah.
And that was before the metro. We take the bus in to the Capitol on 14th Street, which was a rough area then.
Still.
My son lived up there after he graduated from college, and they found a dead body in his yard.
Horrible.
But it was so hot, and I'm like, why am I here? And I'm used to Michigan. I'm like, so I got involved in a beach house, and actually that's where I met my wife. She came down as a guest of another person in our house, and we started dating a few months later, and a year and a half later we're married. So
good things happen.
Yeah, Bethany Beach.
Yeah. Would you recommend to young people today a career in politics?
We need them. We really need them. We need people to step up. And whether it be, school boards or state reps, they need to be involved in their community, and public service is a calling. It's their sacrifice for sure. And I'm not trying to play my violin here. But your spouse is the one that really takes the sacrifice if you do the job right. And, we've had some good people. I look at the people that work for me. Joan Hillebrand's my chief of staff. She's here in town now, living here, but I look at Al, and I look at Mike Ryan, and I look at John Prose and others, and they made a difference. They made a difference for a lot of people, and our district needed it. It still does.
Yeah, and certainly
Eric
the getting
Nesbitt was a page. I think he has the record for. I think he got 3 cycles.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. He found the little loopholes. Eric, you're still here.
He had a regular bunk there, but
now we don't have pages, because there's some abuse that happened.
Florida and that kind of thing. But it's not just. I would suggest it's not just getting involved, but getting involved in the right way with the right information behind you. How do you get that information? How do you get that knowledge and take that knowledge responsibly to make change?
Well, you got to listen to everybody. You got to be a good listener. Journalism was a great. I never thought I'd ever run for public office. In fact, I said no when people from the Twin Cities came to me. I worked at the White House, and they called and said, Fred, we want you to run for Congress. And I said, no. I said, I'm happily married. I still am.
Yeah.
Got 2 black labs. I get to see the president every week. I said, why do I want to leave?
Yeah.
Well, at some point, that career at the White House does end. But so I said no, and they came back to me and convinced me that I should run, and we did, and we won 25 contested elections as it turned out. But journalism was a great career for me because we always, I thought, had a good relationship, particularly with the media. And again, my dad's advice: tell the truth the first time. Don't try to pretend you're somebody else, and tell people why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what this job was all about.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate everything you've done for the area, and Thank you for coming in this
I
morning.
enjoy listening every morning to you guys.
Thank you.
And, it's good to have Weibel as your sidekick. Too.
Yeah, he's fun.
He is fun.
He's a kick in the pants, and he's a good golfer.
He is. He wants to get me out there.
Oh boy,
he keeps giving me golf balls. And
does he know how you golf?
I tell him, I'm pretty sure I only lost 9 balls.
One second, we have to get ABC News. It's 8:00.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. An hour from now, face to face.
Okay. Final comments. Final comment.
It's always good to be with you. Stay true and keep up the good work.
Okay. All right. Anything for Weibel? Are you going to play golf with him in 26?
Hopefully so.
Okay.
I need a little more help.
Maybe I can tag along because I would be the comic relief.
Well,
in the golf strokes category.
I do count them. I don't where the ball goes is what
that's where you
say,
play.
Move it. And I go, no, I'm
you got to play it where it lies. Yep. Okay. Fred Upton, thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right. Thank you for joining us on the video live stream. That's it.